evening, everyone. Good morning. Okay.
So emotional intelligence is about how good are we with ourselves. Then everything else automatically follows. We can't be critical of ourselves and then expect to shower love to somebody else. We can't be blaming ourselves all the time and then expect to compliment and appreciate somebody else. It is not possible. You can only give what you have with you. So emotional intelligence, it starts with becoming better with ourselves and then extending that into others most naturally. Meditation process, this meditation that we practice every day is helping us develop this emotional intelligence in many facets.
Without meditation, the paradise is lost. With meditation, the paradise is regained. Without Ana-Pana-Sati, the paradise is lost. With Ana-Pana-Sati, the paradise is regained. Milton said, the mind in itself creates a hell of a heaven and a heaven of a hell. The mind has to be rectified. A worldly mind creates a hell for everybody. And a spiritual mind creates a heaven for everybody. Every worldly mind needs to be transformed into every spiritual mind. Mind should be limited to only one thing, that is the breath. Become one with your own normal, natural, easy, soft, simple, tender, peaceful, tranquil breath, my dear friends.
Earlier it was like I was forcing myself to do something which was not really fascinating me, but slowly I started enjoying everything that I was doing, and all the credit I would just give it to the meditation, the breath mindfulness meditation that taught in, and it brought a lot of clarity to me, a lot of passion into me.
I was having a clear of thoughts, but it has become very clear what is the purpose of life. And whenever I do meditation, I was doing from the long 5-6 years, but guided meditation given me so much that as bhavan tatbhavan, the clarity of thoughts. So what you have said is people from spiritually poor to spiritually rich through the journey of this meditation is excellent.
As a teen, I went through a lot of things, stress, depression, anxiety, because of exams and getting into the right college. But even after entering college, things remained the same. I wasn't sure how to get back. But then, after meditation, things started changing, not at once, but gradually. I started focusing more on what I want. And I started gaining some confidence to face the world.
The best thing is my son. I have a great relationship with him now. I used to think that I would actually have to, teach him. Right, but today I am become a student. I learn from him every day, and we have become friends. And that itself probably is for anybody is a great accomplishment. Meditation has definitely helped me there.
Happy morning, friends. Have a wonderful evening. So I welcome you all again to another power-packed session of emotional intelligence. See, when we are working, right, we always think that our technical capabilities can take us to the next phase of our career. But the research says that, certain personal attributes like how good are you at taking initiative, the awareness that you have towards your work, of the adaptability towards work is something that the employers are currently looking at, right? So whatever path we choose, we are always judged through these emotional intelligence lenses is what the research says. So understanding how do we cultivate this or how do we adopt these factors, which is very critical for our future success, right? In today's session, we will learn more about it and what are the core areas of emotional intelligence that will help us really reach to our next level. Yeah, that's what we're going to learn. Yeah. Yes, sir. Over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi Madam. Happy evening, dear friends and masters. Wonderful morning and afternoon. Milton said, as Patriji, we heard him, the mind makes hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. Everything is in the mind. We have to rectify the mind, we have to develop it, we have to cultivate it and develop it. If intelligence and abilities are one side of the mind, emotions and managing the emotions is the second side. And emotions on Monday we learned are there in the second aspect of mind, which is the subconscious. The conscious mind is mostly responsible for our abilities, whereas the second aspect of our mind, which is subconscious, is responsible for our emotions and how we exhibit them, which is driven through the facts and truths that we consider as truths for ourselves. A king had a small boy, a son, 2-3-year-old. So they go to a forest for trekking. So now king is going, so the whole sort of the kingdom of all the supporters, the army and this one, that one, everybody goes with him, the helpers. So during the trekking in the forest, deep forest, and this is a 2-year-old boy, and so while walking somewhere, the link is off and then the boy gets suddenly off the path before others could notice. And it's a forest, it's difficult to trace him. So the boy is off the path and somewhere he got lost. And needless to say, the whole team there of the king, and they've been searching frantically. It is dark for the day. They couldn't find him. King was, needless to say, was literally crying. But nothing could be done, so he couldn't really find. So they had to call off the search. Well, the boy slipped into a cave. He went into a cave. The cave sort of had different access points. So once he went inside, then he's a young 2-year-old. What can you expect? So he went into another side, and so he couldn't trace himself back to the entry. And so he literally got separated. So next morning, somewhere he came out of some opening of the cave. And so there, two very poor laborer, wife and husband, they saw him, they spotted him. And then they didn't have children. They felt, wow, this is great. And the wife was literally so happy that God sent a child for them. So they took him, they hugged him, and they took him home. By the time the king's team returned back for another day's search, now it is too late, so this boy is taken already away from there. So the boy could now be found and by the king, so he had to retreat back. Whereas this boy now was growing up in this poor labor family. For them, he is a great find by the God. They would give all the love, shower all the love to them. But this boy is growing up, and so the boy kept on thinking, kept on always thinking about his status as prince, that if he was there, that he could have had a great life, kingly life. So he would always be in a sad sorrow situation, thinking about what his past is, then where he could have easily been, but then his unluckiness for getting separated, and so he's living as a poor person somewhere in that neighboring kingdom. So the whole life he's been thinking, feeling bad for himself because he got separated. And then here, and he was a young person, so nobody would believe him and say that I'm the prince. So he thought they will not believe him anyway, so he never expressed that he was the prince. He was a king's child. He never expressed. Instead, even though the two parents who raised him were so fond of him, so dear of him, giving him all the love and affection, but he thought this is very, very, it was always compared to the life that he had. And so then he felt bad about being in a poor family throughout here in front. He couldn't take the love that is given because he was just not ready with that event that is happening in his mind, that no, he is very, very unlucky. He is neither happy thinking about the past nor happy being in the present. His whole life went like that. Neither could be happy here nor could be happy thinking about all the past that he had gone through. Where is all this coming from, dear friends? It's all in our mind. If we're spiritually intelligent, I mentioned that there are two intelligences, spiritual intelligence and emotional intelligence. If you're spiritually intelligent, you would have accepted that it was his creation. If he's emotionally intelligent, he would have accepted the present moment in front of his poor parents yet, but there is so much of love coming to him. It's only the mind making everything. Heaven out of hell or hell out of heaven. Meditation is definitely cultivating the mind. Meditation is definitely rectifying the mind by helping us to see things as they are, helping us to detach the emotion that we are going through that is so attached and conditioned to the events of the past, and so help us to see them as they are. Awareness that meditation builds in each of us is fundamental. To develop a greater intelligence towards how we manage our emotions. Meditation, enlightenment, awareness, and life gist. Meditation that we're practicing, enlightenment is the wisdom that we gain to understand that we are here for a temporary experience. The wisdom we gain that we understand that we are here for a temporary experience, and everything that we're experiencing is temporary, illusionary in nature. And so why cling on to things? Why attach to things? And whatever that I'm experiencing is created by my very thought, and so then the very thought can change it too, is enlightenment. Whatever I'm experiencing is created by my very thought, and so then the very thought can change that experience, because the experience is merely based on a meaning that I given of a fact that I've got stored in my subconscious, so I can change that. So one side meditation, another side enlightenment of this knowledge, then we develop greater awareness, and awareness is the beginning of changing our emotions significantly. Momentary awareness of what we are going through, to essentially in our mind, the two aspects, the conscious mind of the thought and the subconscious mind of the emotion. We are aware of these two, and so we have an opportunity to change it and respond differently. You will understand this post our meditation today. The emotional intelligence, that the wheel of emotional intelligence. The psychologists organize it as self-awareness about ourselves, then expression to positively gain things that are very, very important for us. Self-expression, to claim things that are important for us, to be able to express our happiness, and to inspire in the process, to inspire everybody around, to rally everybody, and then develop greater consideration for everybody, and then to do greater things called engagement. So let's go into this meditation, dear friends. Once again, we're practicing breath mindfulness meditation. The goal of this meditation is to observe the breath, and then go into various meditative states the breath takes us. This breath is connecting us from our inside to the outside, back and forth. It is a very, very intelligent process. And when you are observing the breath, and it is taking us to multiple meditative states that are there. One meditative state is you feel sleepy. When you observe the breath and slowly breath is becoming lighter, 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 and then you may go into sleep as you just follow it and then you go into sleep. You'll realize and say, hey, slept. That's a state. One state is as you observe the breath, as breath is becoming lighter and observe. And suddenly you'll find after some time, you don't know where you are. You're not aware of yourself. You're in a trance state. One state as you observe the breath and observe. And then suddenly you'll find your body moving, shaking sensations. You're seeing visions. You're seeing tingling sensations. A lot of involuntary things are happening for you. And that's your meditative experience state. When you're observing the breath, another state could be that as you observe, the breath is becoming lighter and you follow it, and then suddenly you find yourself totally empty. You don't find your body, you find everything empty, nothing around this side, that side, it's all empty, black, dark, void. Whatever state that you may go into, just observe the breath and follow the breath, and slowly you may go into any of these states. They're all meditative states. And go into them as you go in there, be a witness to them. Do not interpret anything. Be a witness. Just see what's going on. It's like something is going on. Let me observe it. But there's a fifth state. When you observe the breath, and as your breath is becoming lighter, lighter, and then as you're going to go somewhere, but in the meanwhile, you realize, and the state you catch yourself where you realize, oh, you're in thought again. You are thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner. How is my today morning first meal is going to go? That fifth state where, as you observe the breath, you are catching yourself in thought. And that state, dear friends, is where you got to act again. The moment you recognize you are in thought, bring your attention back to the breath. Again, observe the breath. So we observe the breath, we follow the breath, and it takes us to any state. The only time where you need to do something is when you know that you are again in thought. And when you catch yourself, attention back to the breath, and again observe, and slowly you go back into any of the meditative states. Right, friends? Forget about this emptiness, the thoughtless, and all of that may come, may not come, doesn't matter. All we want to do is to observe, and then when we catch ourselves in thought again, attention back to the breath. Until then, you're still good. You're good in a good meditative state. Right, friends? It's called breath mindfulness meditation. Before we're doing that, we're doing something called heart elevation process. Just follow my guidance for heart elevation, where we are slowing down the thoughts in our brain. We're becoming more coherent. That helps us to be more deeper in our meditation states. So we'll do that for a few minutes, and then we go into the breath mindfulness meditation. Relax yourself, sit comfortably, dear friends. Relax your body. And slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation. With your eyes closed, fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap, observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath, dear friends.
tell yourself to merge into your in-breath and the out-breath. Merge into your breath. Merge into that emptiness of yourself. That field of all connectedness.
No.
Relax your body and let your autonomous nervous system repair your body as you relax.
We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you, you're a part of me. We can change the world one heart at a time. We can change the world one heart at a time. I see you, I know you,
Recollect your experiences from the session. How did you feel? What did you see? Who have you become? And whenever you're ready, you can keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds and then you may open your eyes. Okay, dear friends. Hope you enjoyed the session. As you're relaxing in, let's understand how meditation is helping us develop that intelligence. Yes, Mr. Michael. Yeah. You raise your hand, Mr. Michael?
Oh, sorry. My mistake. I didn't mean to raise my hand.
Okay. No problem. Wonderful. How is your meditation in respect to?
Very good. Very good. I see colors, patterns, like mist or clouds, usually green and yellow colors. But I see some darkness between the patterns. So today I tried to focus on those dark parts and move into them. And I found that I could see, mostly darkness if I could focus on the dark parts and try to move into them. On Monday, I saw and felt like I was on a path. I was felt like I was moving forward on a path, and there were like small lights, like glowing coal or charcoal or something, glowing little spots along the path that I'd pass by as I moved slowly on the path. And then the glowing kind of coals became closer and closer together until they lined the path. It was a very unique vision. And I just observed and took interest in it. And that was Monday. But now mostly I see, as I said, patterns of light and pale colors.
Awesome. Many don't have those experiences that you had.
It's my imagination, but it's coming from somewhere. Coming from somewhere.
Well, it's imagination of your superconscious. It's not your conscious mind imagination.
Yes.
Right? It's not a conscious imagination. It's finding from the field. Because so many possibilities exist. Was that path? Was you traveling pretty fast?
No, slow.
Slow. Okay.
But definitely I felt as though I was moving forward. Gliding, really. I didn't feel like steps. I felt like I was just gliding, and it had a kind of a gentle curve. I think I was getting somewhere, but I don't know what it was. I don't know what the destination was. Yet.
Raymond,
I feel like it will come. I feel like it will come if I keep watching.
Yeah, I guess, the goal of meditation per se is not necessarily to look for something, but as you said, it may come. Not necessarily look for something unless you have interest towards something specific. Without looking for anything, we are changing. And we will be revealed of things that are necessary for us to move through our decisions more confidently, more clearly, right? In any time that we are to get guided towards the right thing. If we are looking for what next, we only need to have questions and those will be answered. We only need to have questions, and if you have. If we don't have, then something will be answered to give us more clarity of whatever that we are doing. Right. But however, if we have specific interest towards, let's say, my past life, specific interest towards, I would like to see if there is life on Sirius star. And with a specific interest, we move towards by reading more about such matters. And so then we are naturally moving towards what we call the cosmic reality. Everything has to reveal itself because all energy, everything is inside. So there is something out there, some information frequency. So we just have to tune into that, like radio station. Okay. We tune into the frequencies in that level. What's important, however, though, is by practicing, present life, a wakeful time gets awesomely better, right? So that's happening. Gaining so much clarity. I am able to explain situations that are occurring to our life. And so then we start becoming joyful. Yes, Mr. Jaykaran Singh.
Yeah, namaskar.
Namaste.
I don't know. Today I think it was extremely satisfying experience I had. In fact, at one point of time, I felt as if something rotating in front of me or above me like this. That means you might have seen the chakra of Surya rotating around and then spreading light and then energy perhaps, I think. And at one point of time, I forgot that I'm breathing also. I thought my breath is also rotating around that, along with that. So I was not able to distinguish between inhaling and exhaling. It was just continuously circulating along this thing, and that was something. There was some circle type thing going on. Chakra, we might have heard this Surya chakra or something. You have some gods. Sometimes they show this chakra, something like that, and then it's spreading light or energy, something like that. So that was such an experience. I thought, I don't know how could.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to, if you know what it means based on what you know, then yes, you can take something, a meaning out of it. It applies.
Yeah, then I could relate, because in childhood time, when I was in probably 7th, 8th, I played the role of Krishna, and then Arjuna also I played in a drama in a school. So perhaps that also came in my mind, that perhaps like that only, because that time that this thing was rotating and something like that. I don't know how could I reach there.
Yes, sir. We are both simultaneously. We are Arjuna in the body, Krishna in the energy. We are both simultaneously. Okay. Arjuna is a conscious mind. Krishna is a super conscious mind. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is about that.
Oh.
The conversation between the physical body of ourselves with the energy of ourselves. We are both.
So great, I couldn't correlate that, because only you said that only. It may have some impact.
Both are important. Both roles are important. Only after Arjuna was reminded of the energy nature of himself, that is only temporary, illusionary, do things without any expectation, all of that he understood, then he could perform greatly. And so he did the wars beautifully. Please listen to Patriji's Pearls of Wisdom videos on PMC channel. There are several of them, and he talks about this concept beautifully in one of those places. Let me bring us back to emotional intelligence. I want to take a few minutes to cover this important topic. And by the way, while we are discussing about these experiences, and many here, like me, never had any experience in meditation, and it is absolutely okay. Or the different meditative state, a sleep state, a trance state, a state where we're just empty, a state where we're experiencing things like what we just heard from Mr. Michael or Mr. Jay. But there's another state where we always feel that my mind is full of thought and thought and thought and thought and thought. And it is okay. That's as a fifth state, right? It doesn't matter what state we are in, but we are sincerely practicing it. And so then we will sure to see, we're sure to tame our mind. And so we're sure to rectify the mind. And so then we're sure to bring about the change into our body. It's going to happen for everybody. And by now you can tell, no matter what, how you felt in your meditation, but your daily life must be improving in some way or the other. I hope you are taking time to fill up that self-assessment questionnaire. It's definitely going to give you some ideas of how your dreams have been, how your emotional reactions have been, how your words have been, your thought process has been, your work efficiency, many questions it asks. So it sort of sets you thinking how you're improving. So please do take time to fill up that self-assessment, to know about your self-improvements in you. So talking about this emotional intelligence, this picture, amygdala is our emotion center. And it gets hijacked. You know, when amygdala, the emotion center, which is sort of responsible for expressing emotion, gets hijacked in a stressful situations. So Here is how a typical thing is happening. Somebody is shouting at home. Let's say that you are there, you are working, someone is shouting at home. The thalamus, which is part of the subconscious, sort of correcting information and then filtering and then sort of giving, which is more important at that moment. So your neocortex, now neocortex is your frontal brain. So here is a conversation between your subconscious brain, the limbic brain, and then your conscious mind, which is your neocortex, the conversation. Now, what is in your conscious mind? The neocortex is that light bluish color brain, in that the front part is a lot more important. Here, this part is called the frontal cortex, which is your CU of the brain. It's like your orchestrate things, it's got to collect all the data. Like, there's a boss and all the people around. So when things are happening, they communicate back to them like a team lead. So when the ear is having that response, so it is sending a signal to neocortex, which is the frontal cortex really, and it is assuring it's okay, because now he's the director, so he's got to take decisions. It's like, don't worry, it's just your wife's voice. Then now I is seeing and saying, okay, so there is somebody taking a rolling pin. And so the neocortex is saying, let me think, it's okay, it's not a danger yet, so stay calm, cool, we'll handle it. So trying to sort of having this negotiation, this go on, literally these negotiations go on. And then in the meanwhile, I is sensing the danger, it is saying, it says, hey, there is something that's coming very fast. It's coming very fast at you. And so then, now this is where the thalamus at that point, rather than passing the control, the thalamus is the gateway in subconscious, passing the control back to neocortex to let it decide once again to wait or not wait. It's sort of too late for it and it got hijacked and moves the control to amygdala. Amygdala, the emotion center, is going to say something, do something at that point. Stressful state, fight or flight, one of those two, right? Fight or flight, one of those two, this may happen. So the point here is, meditation is allowing neural rewiring between amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. So amygdala, with meditation, is passing the control always to the frontal cortex to take a conscious response. Amygdala without meditation, meditation means equal to awareness is mindfulness. Without meditation is without awareness, is bypassing the frontal cortex at times and then moves to take an unconscious reaction. The ability to give control back to the prefrontal cortex, which is your CEO of the brain, so that you don't bypass. And the CEO, of course, you know it, right? It's got all data. It's like this. If there are flights coming by, right, and you want to land, and there are 3-4 flights are there, they're all waiting for the airspace to be cleared, the strip to be cleared. So somebody makes a decision because they couldn't wait and says, okay, now I got to bypass the tower and then let me just go on the land anyway. It's like that. The tower is your neocortex, and if you bypass it, so a lot more dangerous things can happen. We know this. Organizationally, we know this. Organizationally, we want to always ensure that it is going through the one who makes the decision. So then the right decision can be made, I guess, dear friends. So meditation in that situation, as you said, it's all about that switch, that neocortex versus your amygdala, who is making a decision in any given situation. And I think if you have that awareness, their control is passed to that neocortex, so then you go make a better decision. That's what it is. Because your neocortex, which is your frontal part of the brain, is always got access to various skills that you develop, various responses that you have to situations. It knows. It knows that you have a cool response. It knows you have an aggressive response. It knows you have a patience response, right? It knows you have a frustrating response. They're all there because it's all skills that you develop, the knowledge you develop through courses, through literature, to this and that. It's all helping to store. They call the various brains, little brains, cooking brain, meditative brain, patience brain. What does that brain mean? It's a bunch of neural circuits to know how to be patient. What does it mean to be patient? What does it mean to be cooking something? All the little circuits are formed and they're all wired and then controlled and accessible through the neocortex. And so it can choose the right response if you give the control to it versus, let the amygdala do, which doesn't have all that bigger picture. And so it can only fire what is very, very strongly there in its control. Amygdala means it can only fire what is the most strongest circuits there that have been deeply formed, and so those take over. That means your strongest beliefs sort of take over in situations. So there are 5 areas that meditation is helping is self-awareness. This is all positive psychology. Self-awareness, self-expression, inspiration, empathy, and engagement. We're going to cover 2 of them, and rest we'll cover tomorrow. Self-awareness is knowing about your current state of your thought and emotion. Expression is that as you understand yourself, where you are with the current state, and then so the moment you know where you are, then you have a better ability to respond. And so then you start getting better, then you have an expression where now you develop more qualities of confidence and all that through self-awareness. So you express differently compared to before. Expressing what is important with clarity of mind is self-expression. Inspiration, empathy, and engagement will come back to them. So self-awareness is awareness about your thoughts, feelings, and reactions. Thoughts in a conscious mind, feelings are your emotions and subconscious, and reactions to them either in the form of thought or in the form of feeling. What kind of reaction they're about to give to a given person, a given situation. You're aware of them. You're looking into various things that are happening to you, and then you're inspecting because you've got awareness. Meditation builds a ton of awareness. Everything is around knowing what's happening to me. It's all about knowing. If suddenly your lights went out in your home, you don't know where to start. But if you figure out, then you start looking at, hey, which MCB, which one went off, which fuse went off. You look at, take a torchlight and then look at it and say, which one went off? Is it my UPS tripped? Is it my, that special light I switched on? Is it, which part is that because it caused a problem? Then suddenly you look at it and say, oh, okay, my central UPS tripped because I had a faulty circuit. That's all we need to know. We need to know where is the problem. The moment we know where the problem is, then we are completely relieved. And so because we know it, easily fix it. Fixing is easy. Knowing is a problem. We got to know what is it going on, dear friends. So when the self-awareness is built, we know. We know, oh, first I'm feeling frustrated right now. Why? What's the reason for being frustrated? So you know it. Then that momentary is sufficient for us to know a little more behind. Okay, where is this coming from, stemming from? Oh, it's stemming from my past about how stupid I was in making my same decision last time. Oh, it's coming from there. And so this understanding is sufficient for us to have that opportunity to respond. We talked about this in Learning, Doing, Being on Monday. So looking and then being aware of the thoughts and feelings, dear friends, is the biggest victory because we are able to then point to a problem, because the moment the problem is where, then immediately can answer it. You can find a solution to it. We know this. Many ways you can find solutions. The solution is in the form of giving a different response because you're consciously aware now. So when we do this, dear friends, first thing that's happening is that we become confident. The moment we feel like we have a hold on our emotion, then we become confident, because you know what's happening earlier. Earlier, in a situation with a client, I know the team meetings where you would, let's say, you would lose out, you would short temperament. So pretty quickly you lose out, and then sort of say something pretty quickly in a meeting. Somebody's reviewing. As I lose out, you say something pretty quickly. And so then you are worried that based on the past, you're withdrawing from these situations. Many times we don't want to participate. You want to stay very quiet. You want to ignore what others are saying because it's going to trigger something. It's called inactiveness. You want to stay away. But that's because you're not confident about how can you handle your emotions well. Not too confident. But now, when you have that awareness and you start doing it, so you become confident, and so you participate back. You know that you can handle well, so you participate back in love. It all starts with this awareness. When we are aware, when we feel confident, I've got a better response to choose, I got control of what I'm saying, speaking, and how I'm behaving, then we are confidently coming back. And of course, since we have the opportunity to give a new response, and meditation is helping us to bring this through this awareness, we've got multiple responses. Instead of shouting, being patient. And so the response is given one time and a second time. As you're giving balanced responses, you're becoming naturally building up and exhibiting a different energy. So you are naturally exhibiting a different energy, that high vibration we talked about, high emotion, better energy. So better energy, so people start responding to you differently. Self-awareness, it leads to a different response. And so people are responding to differently than before. So you become cool, you allow others to become cool. You become happy, others are happy. You are patient, others are patient. Because that's really what you can spread. You give what you have. So the first step, dear friends, is to we start rubbing up positive emotion to others. People look at you and say, oh, what happened to you? You used to be like, say a lot of things in the last review, and your friend is telling you after the meeting. Every time, Dan was there, then you would just go off because he's not supportive of project here or there. But then now what happened? So something is different in you. You feel good about that comment. That reinforces that have changed. And so, dear friends, from awareness, so that means from reaction, move to response. A reactive person will become a responsive person. So now, when we become confident, and when we are noticing all others are sort of saying good things about us, and we notice that. And this is also the time when we are doing self-aware, we're also aware of the self-criticality about ourselves. The self-awareness is where we build a lot of self-love. They're right there. Because when you're aware of in a situation, if you're frustrated and then it's because of a wrong decision you made, and then you start criticizing yourself. That criticism, again, it's a thought. Go back and look at, is it a disastrous thought, negative thought, positive thought, miraculous thought? You go back and look at all the spectrum and say, why am I even criticizing myself? And so awareness is there, you drop that criticality because now you understood. We would categorize the thought into 4 levels. And so that idea is there, notion is there. And neocortex is helping you to pull back that knowledge, that awareness. So you move your thought from that self-critical negative thought to something different. You say, okay, fine, things happen. It's not the end of it. Assure yourself. So we move into self-love. We start loving. We stop judging ourselves. Very important. Self-awareness leads to self-love. We stop judging ourselves. We stop being harsh on ourselves. We stop being very harsh on ourselves. And exactly that, when you are not harsh on yourself, friends, the first thing that's happening is it's going on to your children, people around you at home. A lot of times we are very, very harsh on them. Because let's look at it. You can give what you have, simple, because that's a vibration, that energy is what's going and communicating. We said this in the week 2. Everything is energy communication. Before physically you communicate something, the energy is already going. That frequency of harshness has got a frequency versus having a loving, peaceful calmness. When you love yourself, you're calm. And so the frequency is different. That's what is going. And so we are self-love, no harsh treatment to ourselves. And so naturally, we are loving the same thing to others also, dear friends. It happens. We don't have to try stuff. So when you are into the self-expression, so basically now what happens? You become confident. You love yourself. And so you got this elevated emotion. So you're happy. You start being happy. So when you start being happy, we stop managing people. Now, this is the great switch that happens. That fears of losing out, fear of, looking stupid, fear of, failure, a lot of things that are coming because of the way we are able to express or not express, and a lot of them go away. And so then we stop managing. Otherwise, all the time, if you're expression only for managing people and situations. But instead, we stop managing people and situations. Why do you have to manage? So that we can seek their favor, we can seek their approval. We constantly seek approval of others, dear friends, to gain their happiness. We're looking externally. But once that is there inside, then we stop looking for that, seeking approval from others. We don't need others' validation. We validate for ourselves. And so we manage, we stop managing, and then we stop being truthful. We're poised, we're calm, we're composed. We don't look for any more others' validation. And so then we are expressing our truth. The strength will come, the fear of failure, or fear of getting judged, all of those go away, the strength will come. Self-expression is to express what is important to you. How do I know what's important to me? When we meditate, remember the 95% unwanted, redundant, negative, all that thought is there, all of that is slowly dropping away. A lot of negativity goes away. A lot of judgmental attitude goes away. And so when all of the thought have dropped slowly over a period, and then we notice it, and I would like us to hear, if anybody has already started noticing, that you are expressing little more than before. You are more confident, and you are, earlier what you used to ignore, now you don't ignore it, and then you actually start bringing it up. Please say yes in the chat. And so because all that unwanted stuff is going away, our mind is becoming clear. That 5% important thought, important things that are important for us. What's important? My music is important. Me changing to a new technology is important. I need to change my role because I don't like this anymore. That's important, but I'm not able to express it when we start taking the step now. Expression of children at home, when we have parents that are authoritative, they can't express. They can't express because, the all kinds of stuff. Hey, how dare you can say that to adults? What have you learned? These are all you learned. One statement is sufficient to shut them off. And so even though they want to express, they can't. And so they withdraw. What is the alternative? Withdraw or stay quiet. They're the two alternatives. But then if we change, they change. If we change, they change automatically because the energy is there. So self-expression, dear friends, is that we recognize what is important because all the unwanted stuff has gone. We have clarity. And we know that things that are stayed on are becoming more stronger for us to take action on it. Things that have ignored in the past, we take action. So by doing so, dear friends, the moment we start expressing positively, earlier, out of stress, out of pressure, we would say every now and then, I told you so many times, you don't even listen. is how you would probably have said before. But now you sit down and say, hey, come, you know what? Every time I listen to my music for an hour, it just gives me a great happiness. Can you let me to have my time? And can you do that work for me while I do this? Everything changes. We are operating from a lot of coolness. And so we express it, and then we express things that are important for us. Because we're managing earlier, we're not confident about our life, we're managing earlier. The management is there because we've been conditioned with a lot of things. You can't question elders. And if you do something, your bosses, they have, all the appraisal is there in hands, they can do anything. All kinds of things are there. But now the truth that is important for us is clearly there. The voice is speaking. So, dear friends, we are able to express it. And then when we express, we start claiming what is important for us. Where you place your attention, there you place your energy. So when you talk about things that are important to you, then you have to attract it into your life. It has to come. That's the observation manifests the possibility. That's the quantum field nature. When you ignore it, when you push it aside, no, not now. It's not good. If I talk about my interest right now, and I don't know what the guys will think. So we keep pushing it aside, so we're not placing our attention. But here, place our attention, we start getting things what we like. Self-expression will lead us to realize things that we like to have in our life. And when we have things that we like, we automatically start becoming more happy very naturally. It is a time where we no longer feel the necessity to go into arguments to prove points. Every time, why do we prove a point? I read in this book called The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. Let's read this book, by the way. When two people argue, each one is sucking the energy from the other person. When we argue, you make a point, the other person makes a point, you make a point, the other one makes a point. If we want to, rather than communicating energy or exchanging energy, each one pulls the energy from the other, sucks the energy from the other. One's field depletes of energy every time you make a point, other one feels drained. That's when points are made in arguments. One feels drained when your point is gone because they made something else. And then you make something else. Again, at the end of the argument, the guy who wins feel like they got a lot of energy, but at the cost of what? At the cost of the other person's energy. You drain the energy of the other person. Is that what we want? Is that what we want, to drain the energy of other person? We do not feel the necessity of proving points because all of it is required to find satisfaction and happiness from outside. But we don't need it because we're already happy from inside. We're stable, we're calm, we're cool. And so, dear friends, we stop feeling the need to prove points at work. That's the time we allow people to also express it. The same thing, what you have is what you allow others to do it. They express, fine. I don't need to cut them off. I don't need to make a judgment about it. I don't think they're biased about me. Instead, let them express it. So self-awareness and self-expression, dear friends, are two core things that make us really, really more confident and start attracting things that we love in our life. Lack of awareness, we withdraw from life. As we are aware, we start participating in life, we gain confidence, we gain clarity because all the unwanted stuff is gone with meditation. And so then we start expressing to gain what is really important. We claim back what's important to us, which you always set aside. In Indian common families, the joint families, a lot of times women sacrifice all their interests because they're the same. But now it comes up. Now you will put your points positively, not arrogantly. Meditation does not build arrogance. It gives a lot of confidence so that we positively put the point across and we gain that courage. Because why? We are more balanced inside. We're more aware of what we are navigating through. Sometimes other people are very, very thirsty you. They are very strong. It's called intimidating, depending on their personality. If somebody is intimidating, then we sort of go into another emotional reaction. But now you start recognizing, oh, that person is intimidating. I know how to handle it. You know that you can stay still cool because you know that they're intimidating. You no longer take it personally, and so they're intimidating, and still I can handle them and say, more relaxedly can answer. Because that's the nature. You start thinking from their perspective. And so, dear friends, what is important gets expressed. We start expressing, and so we claim it. We've seen it again and again and again in all households. We've seen it, of course, in offices. And so when we claim what is ours, we are happy, more happy. So we'll understand the rest of it on tomorrow in completing the cycle of how meditation builds better emotional regulation, and which in turn is leading to more happiness, and it's all cyclic. Thank you very much. Yes, Lakshmi Madam.
No announcements, sir. Nothing. Just a reminder of all for self-assessment 2 and the quiz certification. Whoever is part of certification program, please attempt this quiz, and as well as the self-assessment 2 that was sent to all of you. That's it.
Yes.
We have Malavika Gupta who has raised her hand.
Yes. So before that, so thank you, dear friends, for joining. And I will see you again at tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. with more of this wisdom. So feel free to exit, and I'll be here for another 5 minutes to take questions and listen to your experience from meditation today. Yes.
Sir, with regards to today's session, I just wanted to share a small experience I had. It was at work actually, and in one of the meetings, I made a suggestion, and a lot of others said yes to it. So that was it. But the next day, the person who was in charge, she came to me and she said that, I didn't like the way I was saying something and you suggested something. I didn't like it the way you suggested. So earlier I would have been very angry at that moment. I would have reacted, like you say, we react. But I listened to her, whatever she said, and I just told her that, it wasn't my intention to do it. If you felt that way, I'm sorry. But my intention, I suggested what I felt was the solution. Like it was something which I felt should be done. And that's all I said. No argument, nothing like that. And earlier I would have maybe, spoken to 10 people about it. That's how she spoke to me. Normally we do all that. We discuss that this is what happened, that. But surprisingly, I never felt the need to tell anyone also. So this something which I felt a change in myself, because normally I do react a lot of times. So this was one instance where I think I remained calm. So I give it to the meditation. Like it's helping me more in other times. Not during meditation, nothing is happening much. But like you said, the other waking hours, it's helping me a lot. So I wanted to share it with everyone.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Malika ji.
One question, sir. You just said something about when people around us are a little intimidating. In one of the sessions, can you suggest more ways to handle that? Like if someone, you want to put across a point, but the other person is not willing to listen to your point of view. How do we handle that?
So,
Sorry,
intimidation, you have to when they're in good mood, of course, in intimidation, anyway, you are considerate that there is a personality. There are 4 personalities: intimidation, interrogation, aloofness, and poor me. Everybody is one of these 4 personalities.
What's the last one, sir? Aloofness and?
Poor me. I'm poor. I'm like, always unlucky.
Okay.
Poor me. Okay. So everybody is sort of fall into one of these. With meditation, we overcome these personalities. But otherwise, we have these personalities. So first we have to recognize that they have personality. And if you have recognized it, then you can be considerate about that personality, right? But for that to be considerate, we need to be stable. So now meditation will help you to deal with intimidating persons. That is okay, fine, yeah. They're always like, that's going to say, will come out of the top of their voice and going to say something, okay? But they also know. So one is that just so they're being cool, rather than we also lose out or pull back, number 1, right? Number 2 is that have a partnership with them when they're in good mood. Sit down with them. When they're in good mood, sit down. And then tell you what, explain the concept and then tell you what, so next time, when you are saying, for no reason, if you're going to be at the top of your voice, I will remind you gently that, hey, Ram, you can tell me that normally also. Why are you going to the top? Okay, you can say this. You can say whatever telling me. Yes, normally also. Why do you want to just go to that extreme thing? You can just say that gently, and then immediately they'll cool down. They'll cool down. And
what happens is a lot of time when we are with such a personality, we start first thinking, how will that person react if I say this? Will it cause a fight? Will it cause unpleasantness? So just before speaking also, these things come to your mind a lot of time.
Yeah. First of all, we have to fix our mind, that. Because what we think is what we create. 99% of what we are experiencing is from our mind.
That's true.
99%. So if you change going into conversation with somebody, saying, today, I'm having a lovely conversation with my father-in-law. I'm having a great conversation with my friend. And so then you come together and then see what happens. That has to be first change. And then we apply some other strategies. But really, a lot of it is here. Okay.
Sure, sir. So we could, one of the days, discuss it more. Thank you so much. Thank
you.
Yes, we have Shiva Prasad Naik. Please submit yourself.
You see a question which said, what do you do if the supervisor does it on purpose? So this is the standard dialogue they always see. We've already made a lot of opinions about the other person. When we change our opinion, they will change. So first apply from our side. Change the opinion. Just now what I said. Imagine that they are becoming better towards you, and then they may not happen in the next iteration, but if 5 days later, they start behaving differently. We've seen it again and again. The same person behaves differently to different people is only because of what thought we carry. You may not like my answer, but that's the fact, but that's really how things are getting created. Try it out, experiment it, and then we'll discuss back again. Yes.
Hello, sir. Namaste. So I have a question. I quite a few times procrastinate. I try to postpone my work to tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Is there a way we can work on this?
Breath mindfulness meditation. Okay. Just practice it. It'll become lesser and lesser and lesser. Okay.
Sure, sir.
You have to have a little bit of, vegetarian. Become vegetarian, number 1, if you're not. It has to be a vegetarian food. So, and then the food choices we make, the tamasic foods are laziness and procrastination. And one of the biggest contributors is non-vegetarianism. Right? So that is that. A lot of these, when you go through this program once again, now going through another, I talked about in the second week, things that are increasing our energy in the body. So reduce procrastination, a lot of those. So go back and look at that talk, which is day 8, 9, 10, should be day 10. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Madam will close.
Friends, we have the book club happening right now in another 45 minutes. You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So please do attend to the session. Yeah. See, today when we've heard from Chandra sir about at least the first two topics, right? You talked about self-expression, self-awareness and self-expression. Trust me, it really works wonders. Okay. We will not have any sort of hesitation to express what is going on in our mind. Okay, in my own case, this week, actually from 5 to 6, I have my cadence call. Every day I have it. So since I wanted to make for this session, I mean, I didn't hesitate what my manager will think or what my peers will think, because it was a very big teams coordinated work. So I simply said, after 5:30, at 5:25, I am not available. So if at all you have anything for me, let's discuss before that, or probably first thing in the morning. Not even one single, not so pleasant response from the tweet. Everyone was like, absolutely fine, Lakshmi. And that 5 to 5:25, I discuss my work and I come out of it. And meditation definitely helps us when we talk about when we think of what is priority to us, things will fall in place, and meditation will help us first, first is prioritization. Second is how do you express it when it comes to the real implementation. I'm saying it every day. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that.
Wonderful, madam. Thank you. Thank you all, dear friends. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great day.
Happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I know the light of love is shining in my eyes. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Yes, I am. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Happy, healthy.
1 second, Swapna. Karthik, I just saw a message from you saying that you have not received any info. Please check your WhatsApp group and also your email. And in case you're still not able to trace it out, please talk to your team facilitator, right? They'll be able to help you. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Shining in my eyes, I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. A little birdie told me that life is so sweet. As I listen to her song, I know I am complete. I have all the keys to love, joy.
Remember this point. Argue for your limitations. Sure enough, they are yours. No, I can't do meditation. I am a very weak fellow. I can't control my mind. I can't open my third eye. If you use such words, that's what is going to happen. Because you are arguing for your own limitations. If you argue for your own limitations, that's what is going to happen. Never allow your mouth to work against you. So you must be very, 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 very careful in opening your mouth and letting one word come out. In Pyramid Spiritual Socialism Movement, we give training to all the people how to open the mouth.
Good morning, friends. Good evening. A warm welcome to yet another energetic episode of this Harmony program. Since we've started this week is completely about emotional intelligence and how meditation is really impacting this sphere of our life. We will delve more into it and see how this mindfulness also comes into picture. Okay. When we talk about emotional intelligence today, in today's world, why is this so important? Why has it gained so much of importance? More than IQ, we are looking at EQ as well. Why? See, when we are looking at working with colleagues or peers or vendors or clients, it's very important how we conduct ourselves, how we react or respond to a situation, how productive we can be in a given point, given in a particular situation, right? How do we really converse or convince people around us? All these definitely make a huge impact when we are working in an organization. That is from a professional perspective. And from a personal perspective, personal sphere, if you look at it, how good are we at balancing our relationship, right? How are we handling our world around us? So all this is definitely going to make a huge impact in the way we lead our life. So today's session, we will know more about this emotional intelligence, how meditation is impacting or creating that difference for all of us, right? When we are talking about this EQ, how productive we can be, productivity, how we can increase it when we are talking about handling this emotional intelligence well, and then how it is impacting us. Let's hear more from Chandra sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ishu madam. Happy evening, dear friends and masters. Great morning and wonderful afternoon. Yes, I wish to talk about emotional intelligence, but we'll delay the concept for tomorrow, madam. I realize that we'll understand the concept of pyramid energy today. Pyramid energy, the tools that enhance our practice, that strengthen our practice. And this particular tool, pyramid energy, which is significantly multiplying our depth of experience, because the pyramid structures are special structures that are holding and conserving a lot of energy. Just like nature gives a lot of energy, enhances the meditation quality, Patriji, my master, that everything I've learned through this grandmaster, that video that we saw briefly, was always brought common sense wisdom, but in a very, very scientific fashion. And then researched on pyramids. When I read this book by Bill Schulz and Ed Petit called The Secret Power of Pyramids, long ago, in early 1980s, that pyramids have the preservation capability, they have healing capability, and they are providing altered states of consciousness for people who go and then meditate or do anything close to having a spiritual practice. Paul Brunton, one of the Western philosophers, has narrated his events about going into the Giza pyramid and then meditating in the pyramid and what he had gone through in his book, I believe, The Secret Search for Egypt or Secret Search of Pyramids. Many Russian experiments, European countries' experimentation have demonstrated a lot of powers of the pyramids documented. I too have read these books, one by Bill Petit, another by Max Thoth, and Pyramid Research. Then a few books by Sam Osmanagovich, who is an archaeologist who does a heavy pyramid researcher worldwide, who discovered that there are 100,000 plus pyramids in the world, not just one Egyptian Giza pyramid. There are 100,000 plus pyramids that have been there for a long time. Some are completely under forest, underwater, under earth, because they all got covered up, but some are visible here and there. But the point is that the pyramid structures, contrary to what people have been conveyed or thought about, the world has always distorted facts quite a bit. That it's only for mummies, it's only for this and that, is there is absolutely what we believe is what we create, is how we see it. For example, the master Osho, yesterday, I think somewhere in the Q&A was talking about it, right? So what you see and what you believe is what you create. But if you go deep into the pyramids and the energy of pyramids, then you start realizing that, wow, these benefits are immense. And so Patriji started utilizing that into as meditation halls, pyramids as meditation halls. And we do fundamentally see how the pyramids are helping, how they're bringing about healing, how they're bringing about people benefiting through advanced, deeper meditations. And so I'd like to bring quickly a little bit of knowledge around the pyramids. There is a lot of literature here, and we're going to share later in the groups some of these presentations you can go through, but I want to cover some slides, and I might go a little fast in showing this, about 10 minutes of what the pyramids can bring. The pyramid that we know of, Egyptian pyramids on the left side, that we know of, they've been there for ancient time. Although the historians say Egyptian pyramids, they date them to before BC 7K, 7,000. Although spiritual masters are talking about Egyptian pyramids built 10,000 years before BC. And, there are various understandings for them to say it, but then, so then the second thing, Mayan pyramids that are there, some of the examples, there are Mongolian pyramids, there are pyramids in Amazon forest, so these pyramids are there in many places that people have found. And this is a pyramid from Bosnia, something that I have gone there 5 years ago. These pyramids are discovered by Sam Semir Osmanagic, who has discovered them now about more than 10 years ago, or even a little longer. They look like hills. That whole area looks like hills. But if you start digging them deeper, about 10 feet you go down, then you find material that is stronger than concrete, but not stone. And that is there, those slabs are laid out. And so there is this massive mega pyramid that is known to be there. Now, many research institutes have confirmed this is built with artificial material, a man-made material.